The rain drummed against the windows of the small, dimly lit apartment, each drop a reminder of the world outside, cold, unforgiving, yet bustling with life. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with the scent of stale cigarettes and something more sinister. Nicotine-stained walls bore witness to countless whispered conversations and hushed threats. This was the domain of Sydney, a 20-something assassin who had long been tethered to his mother's twisted ambitions. "Get up, Sydney," a voice barked, sharp as a knife. "We have work to do." Sydney groaned, shifting beneath the thin blanket that barely warded off the chill. He knew the tone well. It was the kind that left no room for argument. He rolled over, revealing a face etched with exhaustion and regret. "Can I have one morning without a mission?" he muttered. "Not a chance," his mother replied, her footsteps echoing like a countdown toward his fate. "You know we need the money. We can't afford to slack off." He pushed himself up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, and glanced at the cluttered table strewn with crumpled bills and assorted weaponry. "What's the target this time?" "Someone who's been causing us some trouble," she said, smirking. "Her name is Maya. She's an artist, young, talented, and getting too close to people who can expose us." Sydney's heart sank at the mention of her name. He had met Maya weeks ago when he fainted from exhaustion in a coffee shop where she worked. She had rushed to his side, her voice filled with concern as she called for help, refusing to leave him until he regained consciousness. In the days that followed, they had formed an unlikely friendship that warmed the cold, empty corners of his life. "Wait," he stammered, the words tumbling out before he could think. "Maya, the artist? Do you know her?" His mother's eyes narrowed, studying him for any sign of weakness. "Not really, just... she's nice." The admission felt like a betrayal, a crack in the facade he had built to shield himself from his mother's dominance. "Nice? That doesn't matter. She's a liability, and you're going to handle it." Her tone was final, leaving no room for discussion. As he prepared for the job, a storm brewed inside him, a clash of loyalty and longing. The thought of taking Maya's life felt like a dagger to his heart, one that twisted painfully as he dressed in silence. Could he do it? The night was dark and heavy as he approached the small studio where Maya painted, her laughter still ringing in his ears from their last encounter. She had been excited about her latest piece, a vibrant mural that captured the essence of life in a way he had never seen. Her passion was palpable, and he found himself enchanted by her spirit. He hesitated outside the door, the weight of his mother's command battling against the warmth of what he felt for Maya. As he stood there, heart racing, he recalled the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about her art, a light in a world that felt so dark. Think of what she could expose. His mother's voice echoed in his mind. "You know what happens to loose ends." With a shaky breath, he pushed the door open, the hinges creaking ominously. Inside, the space was filled with vibrant colors, canvases leaning against the walls, and the scent of fresh paint hanging in the air. Maya was seated on the floor, a brush in hand, completely absorbed in her work. "Hey, Sydney," she called, looking up with a radiant smile that made his heart flutter. "What brings you here?" Just wanted to see what you were working on," he said, stepping inside, the warmth of her presence enveloping him. "Come look, I'm almost done with this piece." She gestured excitedly. "It's about hope and freedom. I think it'll resonate with people." As she spoke, he felt the conflict within him intensify. "It's beautiful," he managed, though his mind was racing with thoughts of his mission. "Thanks, I'm proud of it." She stood, brushing paint from her hands onto her jeans, and walked over to him. "You should come by more often. I love having company." He swallowed hard, knowing that each moment spent with her made it harder to carry out the task his mother had assigned him. "Yeah, I'd like that." As the evening wore on, they talked and laughed, sharing stories and dreams. Maya's joy was infectious, and Sydney felt himself loosening, the chains of his past starting to slip away. But just as their conversation turned toward deeper topics, his phone buzzed in his pocket, a cold reminder of his reality. "What was that?" Maya asked, tilting her head, concern flickering across her features. It's nothing. He lied, but she could see through him. Are you sure? You look pale. She stepped closer, reaching out to touch his arm. The warmth of her hand sent a shiver down his spine, and he felt the urge to confess everything, to spill out the truth of who he was. Don't hide from me, Sydney, she said softly, her eyes searching his. Whatever it is, you can tell me. I can't, he whispered, the weight of his mother's expectations pressing down on him like a leaden chain. Why not? Because I'm scared, he admitted, the words tumbling out before he could stop them. Scared of what you'll think of me if you knew. Try me, she encouraged, her voice soothing like a balm. He opened his mouth to speak, but the sound of his mother's voice echoed in his mind, urging him to carry out the mission, to silence anyone who knew too much. Listen, he started, but the words caught in his throat as he thought of her face, the way she smiled, the light in her eyes. He couldn't do it. He couldn't be the monster his mother wanted him to be. That night, as he lay in bed, the rain drumming against the window, he felt the weight of his decision pressing down on him. He was caught in a web of conflicting emotions, love battling against duty. When morning came, he decided he couldn't go through with it. He wouldn't kill Maya. He would find a way to protect her, even if it meant defying his mother. But when he arrived at the warehouse later that day, his mother's expression was dark and stormy. You're late, she snapped, her eyes narrowing. What's going on? Nothing, he said, forcing his tone to be casual, but the tension in his shoulders betrayed him. Don't lie to me, Sydney, you've been distracted, I can see it. I'm not distracted, he insisted, though he could feel the truth simmering just beneath the surface. Good. Because I need you to take care of Maya tonight. She's a threat and I won't have her ruining everything we've built. His heart sank. I can't, he said, the words slipping out before he could stop them. What do you mean you can't? Her voice rose, sharp and dangerous. You'll do as I say or I'll make sure you regret it. I won't hurt her, he shouted, the defiance in his voice surprising even him. I won't. Then you're no son of mine, she spat, her eyes blazing with fury. You think you can just walk away? You think you can choose this girl over your family? Maybe I can, he shot back, the anger boiling over. Maybe I want to. His mother's face twisted in disbelief, and for a moment he saw the woman who had raised him slip away, revealing the monster beneath. You're making a mistake, Sydney. You know what happens to traitors. I'm not a traitor. I'm choosing my own life. With that declaration, he turned on his heel and stormed out of the warehouse, leaving his mother's furious screams echoing behind him. The rain continued to pour as he raced back to Maya's studio, his heart pounding with urgency. He had to warn her to protect her from the darkness that threatened to consume them both. When he arrived, he found Maya sitting on the floor, her head bent over a canvas, the vibrant colors swirling together in a chaotic masterpiece. Maya, he called out, his voice trembling with urgency. She looked up, surprise etched on her face. Sydney, what's wrong? I have to tell you something, and you need to listen. He knelt beside her, grasping her hands tightly. You're in danger. What do you mean? Her brow furrowed with worry. My mother. She wants to kill you. She sees you as a threat, and I can't let that happen. Her eyes widened, and she pulled her hands away, shaking her head in disbelief. Are you serious? Why would she want to hurt me? Because you're close to me, he said, desperation lacing his voice. She sees you as a liability, and she won't hesitate to eliminate you if it means protecting her interests. Maya's expression shifted from confusion to fear. But I thought you said she had nothing to do with us. I thought so too, he admitted, the guilt flooding him. But I was wrong. I can't let her hurt you, Maya. I won't. What are we going to do? She asked, her voice trembling. I don't know, but we need to leave. Get as far away from here as possible. I can't just run, she said, panic creeping into her voice. I have my life here, my art, my friends. Your life isn't worth risking. Please, you have to trust me, he pleaded, desperation clawing at the edges of his resolve. Why are you doing this for me? She asked, her gaze searching his. Because I care about you, he admitted, the truth slipping out before he could stop it. I've never felt this way about anyone before, and I can't lose you. There was a moment of silence as the weight of his confession hung between them, raw and vulnerable. Okay, she said finally, her voice steadying. What do we need to do? Pack a bag. Grab anything you can't live without. We need to move quickly, he instructed, the urgency returning. As she hurried to gather her things, Sydney felt a mix of fear and determination. For the first time, he wasn't just running away from his mother's control. He was running toward something, toward love and the possibility of a future free from the darkness that had haunted him. Just as they finished packing, the sound of footsteps echoed outside the studio, heavy and purposeful. Stay quiet, he whispered, his heart racing. Maya nodded, her eyes wide with fear. They huddled behind the door, listening as the footsteps grew louder, the tension in the air thickening. Suddenly, the door burst open, revealing a figure silhouetted against the dim light. It was his mother, her expression a mask of fury. There you are, she sneered, her voice cold as ice. I should have known you'd try to run. Maya, go! Sydney shouted, pushing her toward the back exit. Get out of here! But before she could move, his mother stepped forward, blocking her path. You're not going anywhere, she hissed, eyes blazing with anger. You've betrayed me, Sydney. You think you can just walk away? I'm not your puppet anymore, he said, standing his ground, anger coursing through him. Then you leave me no choice. With a swift motion, she lunged for Maya, but Sydney was quicker. He positioned himself between them, heart racing as he faced his mother. Don't you dare touch her, he yelled, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Move aside, you foolish boy, she commanded, her voice laced with venom. No. He took a step closer, the weight of his decision solidifying. I won't let you hurt her. His mother's eyes narrowed, and for a moment he saw the true monster she was. You think you can defy me? You'll regret this, Sydney. I'd rather live with regret than live with the knowledge that I hurt someone I love, he shot back, the words igniting a fire within him. The tension between them crackled like electricity, and Sydney could feel the weight of his choice hanging in the balance. Get out of my way, she warned, her voice low and dangerous. No, he said, his heart pounding. I won't let you take her. In that moment, he realized that he had made his choice. He was ready to fight for Maya, to stand against the darkness that had controlled his life for so long. With a swift motion, he turned to Maya. Go! I'll hold her off! Maya, run! He shouted again, pushing her toward the back exit. She hesitated, fear and confusion written across her face, but he could see the resolve forming within her. I won't leave you, she cried, desperation in her eyes. You have to, he insisted, voice trembling. I'll find you. Just go. Finally, she turned and sprinted out the back door, and as the sound of her footsteps faded into the distance, he faced his mother, determination etched on his features. You're making a mistake, Sydney, she said, her voice cold and unyielding. You'll regret this. I'm done regretting, he replied, his voice steady. I'm choosing my own path. In that moment, as the storm raged outside, he felt the chains of his past shatter, the weight of his mother's control slipping away. He was ready to fight for the life he wanted, for the love he had found in Maya. As his mother lunged for him, he stood his ground, ready to protect the future he had chosen. The fight that ensued felt both surreal and liberating, each movement fueled by the hope of what could be. In the chaos, he realized something essential. Love was worth fighting for, even in the darkest of times. And as he faced the woman who had once controlled him, He knew he would do whatever it took to keep Maya safe and free. The night was just beginning, and for the first time, Sydney felt alive, ready to carve a new path in a world filled with uncertainty and possibility.